Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, delegates, esteemed colleagues, and friends, good afternoon. It is a privilege to co-host, together with Kathleen and the United Nations Association of Hungary, the UN 80 Conference, where we celebrate 80 years of the United Nations and 70 years of Hungary's membership in this global institution. I'd like to open my remarks today with two quotes worth reflecting upon on such a historic day in the development of multilateralism. If I were to start again, I would start with culture. The famous words of Jean Monnet, founder of the European Coal and Steel Community, precursor to the European Union. These words, although originally spoken about European integration, capture the very essence of the United Nations, an institution built on dialogue, understanding, and shared values. As the preamble to the Constitution of UNESCO in 1945 reminds us, since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. Both statements remind us that peace and cooperation are grounded not in policy alone, but in culture, in understanding, empathy, and the values that bind humanity together. For 8 decades, the United Nations has stood on the pillar of hope, a forum where nations, large and small, come together to confront common challenges. From rebuilding war-torn societies to shaping the global development agenda, the United Nations mission has always rested on one enduring truth: peace is built through understanding. That understanding is not only political, it is cultural. It lives in our arts, our languages, and our capacity to listen and to learn from one another. This is why cultural diplomacy is not peripheral to the UN's mission, it is foundational. It underpins Goal 16 of the Sustainable Development Goals, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and Goal 17, partnerships for the goals. Throughout its history, the United Nations has shown us that culture, education, and dialogue are essential tools for peace. Let me highlight just a few examples. UNESCO's cultural conventions. Since 1972 and 2003, UNESCO's World Heritage and Intangible Cultural Heritage Conventions have protected not only sites and traditions, but also trust amongst nations. In post-conflict settings such as Mali and Iraq, cultural restoration has helped communities rebuild both identity as well as hope. The United Nations Alliance of Civilizations. Founded in 2005, United Nations Alliance of Civilizations recognizes that cultural misunderstanding can fuel division, and that dialogue can prevent it. Through initiatives such as Youth Solidarity Fund and Intercultural Innovation Hub, it empowers young leaders to use culture and education as instruments of peace. As Miguel Angel Moratinos, High Representative of the UNAC, whom we heard from earlier today, has once said, international conflicts cannot be the sole consequence of religion, culture, and civilizations. There is no clash of civilizations. There is a clash of interests and a clash of ignorance. In the face of defending tolerance, let us defend mutual respect. The words of Mr. Moratinos remind us that peace is not achieved by erasing differences, but by engaging across them with respect and curiosity. Example 3, UNITAR's Peace and Cultural Understanding Program. The United Nations Institute for Training and Research, partner of the Academy for Cultural Diplomacy in the designing of our academic curriculum, equips diplomats, civil servants, and youth with intercultural negotiation skills. Its training programs integrate culture and empathy into conflict prevention and mediation, ensuring that future leaders bring humanity to diplomacy. UNESCO's Resiliart movement. Launched during the COVID-19 pandemic, Resiliart unites artists from over 100 countries to keep cultural life alive and advocate for creative workers. It has become a global symbol of resilience and solidarity, proving that creativity is a form of peace building. Finally, the United Nations Refugee Agency recognizes that culture can heal trauma and foster belonging. Through initiatives such as Refugee Film Festival and Artists on the Run, displaced artists are given a voice, transforming public perception and building empathy worldwide. As we mark Hungary's 70th anniversary as a United Nations member state, we also celebrate its role as a bridge between cultures, hosting UNESCO's Regional Bureau for Science and Culture in Europe and championing dialogue throughout Central and Eastern Europe. Hungary's investment in education, science, and cultural exchange demonstrates how even smaller nations can shape global understanding through cultural leadership. And Katina was just reminiscing a few days ago, the first ICD conference that we ever did in Berlin was hosted by the Hungarian embassy in Berlin. So again, a testament to Hungary's driving force, and it's thanks to that first conference hosted by the Hungarian embassy that we are where we are today. As we look at the next 80 years, our challenge is not only to preserve what has been built, but to revitalize it, to make the United Nations more inclusive, creative, and humane. Cultural diplomacy must remain central to that renewal. It is through culture that we learn to coexist, and through culture and peace becomes personal and therefore possible. Let us continue to invest in education, cultural exchange, heritage protection, and storytelling. These are not side projects, they are foundational stones of sustainable peace. In conclusion, after 80 years, the United Nations still stands as humanity's most ambitious experiment in hope, proof that cooperation can overcome conflicts and that dialogue can bridge division. As we celebrate this milestone, let us remember, peace is not negotiated in silence. It is created through connection. And if Jean Monnet once said, if we were to start again, then indeed we would start with culture. Thank you.